Welcome to Traders Empathy, where we explore the human side of trading. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things I wish somebody told me before I started trading. The number one point I'm going to make is think long term, and nothing beats that, like thinking long term. In the world that promotes instant gratification and that promotes short-termism, it is very important if you intend to last in this game that you think long term, like you are in the it for the long haul, because at the end of the day nothing beats that. And how can you do that is by thinking in years, in months, in decades. I wish somebody told me that I really have to see the bigger picture than just the current state now, instead of like trading just for the fact that you just want to meet your current needs, and you just want to like meet the current demands and all that. You have to think for the bigger picture if you intend to last in this game, because nothing beats compounding daily, because the little you compound daily, it tends to become something magnificent. But when you're too focused on instant gratification, you tend not to compound more. So one lesson I've really come to learn the hard way is, if you really want to last in this industry, you gotta think long term. You gotta think in years, in decades. Like, where do I want to be, right? And of course, at the end of the day, you're doing this thing for the long term. But when you're so occupied by the instant gratification and thinking in the very short term way, like short termism and all that, it conflicts with your bigger picture, and then you might not be able to like balance it up. So sometimes it's better to just sacrifice the now for the bigger future that you're building, and nothing works like compounding. I've been away from this channel for a while, and the reason is because I thought I needed better devices, equipment, but perfect conditions. But I just realized that if I don't start, I just probably end up waiting forever, because there's no perfect moment. And this just like a motivation for any trader who just feels like, I'm waiting. Just start anyway. Start with what you have, and just everything gets better as you go, as you move on, but you just have to start. So let's go back to the next point. The second point is very, very, very interesting. Another thing I wish somebody told me is, be neutral about everything is just data. The wins, the loss, they are all data. Like, do not see your losses as failures. Do not see your wins as something like you're not on top of the world. I struggle like with these two scenarios a lot. That when I kind of win a trade or have like a series of winning trade, I begin to like see myself like, oh my god, I'm killing it, like untouchable and all that. Like, I started to see myself as, okay, I am beyond the market. It cannot humble me. Like, I have my shoulders raised up in a kind of way that, no, I control this market. But just beware, that's a kind of dangerous place to be in. And the second scenario is when you're losing, and then you start to feel like a failure, like, no, is anything wrong with me? Like, why am I not getting it right? So that are two sides of it. Just see your wins and loss about like data. Be neutral about them. It doesn't have to like get you down. The losses doesn't have to get you down. The wins doesn't have to get you so high. Like, just see everything like data. That's because at the end of the day, you need to track like what you're doing. And how can you track what you're doing? By building a system around it. Because a lot of people just treat trading as just trading. They just show up trading, but it doesn't have to be that way. You have to like build it in a way that you can track your last 10 trades, and you just know, like, okay, that you can see the outcome. You can track your last 50 trades, 100 trades. And how can you do that if you're not like logging them down? Like, you're unable to track them. So that is why you have to be neutral about each trade, because you could have 5 losses in a row. It doesn't mean you start seeing yourself as a big failure in life. No, you can have 5 wins in a row or 10 wins in a row. It doesn't mean you start seeing yourself like a god that nobody can touch, not even the market. So that is another thing that I wish somebody had really, really, you know, punch into my brain, that be neutral about everything. They are all data. Let's move on to number 3. So the third thing I wish somebody told me in my early days of trading is that a person going step by step is always going to beat somebody that's chasing a one-time big win every single time. Because, well, you might not want to agree with this, but it's always true. I was reading a book yesterday on psychology of money. I was reading it because I've read it before, where I found out that I found out that $81.5 billion of Warren Buffett's $84.5 billion net worth came after his 65th birthday. So imagine, before his 65th birthday, he had, like, let's say roughly $3 billion, and then the huge bulk of it, which is the $81 billion, came after his 65th birthday. That is because he is a kind of person that compounds. Is not the person that chases long term. Is not the person that chases that's like one time big win. Let me explain this thing to you if you don't get it. The thing is that once you compound, like, you might not really see any progress in the beginning. Like, it might feel like you're not making progress because every win seems to be little, 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 little. But as you progress, it gets to a point where, like, it starts to multiply. It starts to multiply because you've made your foundation based on compounding, not thinking of this one big win to come to, like, rescue you. Because oftentimes those one big win is not something you can replicate every single time. So instead of chasing that one big win that has the potential of wiping out your account in a single minute, why don't you just, like, compound? I know compounding is not flamboyant, it's not like glamorous, it's not like interesting, it's so boring. But if you intend to last in this game, compounding is your best bet, it's your sure bet. It's something that you can always count and rely on. It is going to protect your capital. It is going to, keep you in the game long term. So, as it relates to Warren Buffett's scenario, the 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 the, the, the man, yeah, he imagine he has built the compounding system in his structure, that it was after his 65th birthday that he got that huge chunk of his wealth added to his net worth. So why are you rushing? You don't have to rush, because at the end of the day, somebody that's going step by step will beat you that is trying to chase the one big win. So that's the 3 points, 3 things I really wish I had really incorporate in my trading when I was getting started. So thank you very much for listening to me.